Soon as we get it, but let's bring you the quote coming out of that news conference this morning. This is what he's had to say. He has said, we have said we don't want to sell our best players, but Dimitri Payet does not want to play for us. We're not going to sell him. I spoke to the chairman. This is not a money issue. We gave him a long contract because we want him to stay. So let's just repeat what he said. We have said we don't want to sell our best players, but Dimitri Payet does not want to play for us. Sean, let's get your immediate reaction to that.
Well, I think he'll be catching the eyes of the top clubs, and he's a real talent. And he just probably feels that at West Ham they're just slipping away and not really challenging. I think we all thought West Ham would be a team that would be up there in the sort of top 8, and they've just sort of just been away from it. And it's no surprise to me, but they've got to figure that out, because he's huge for West Ham, and he's so important to them.
Dimitri Payet does not want to play for us, says Slaven Bilic. Right. What did the club do?
Bad news. Well, obviously he's asked for a transfer. He's probably walked in and had a conversation with the manager and probably said to him, look, if I get a chance to leave and play for a bigger club than West Ham, then I want to do that. The manager's obviously said to him, well, we don't want you to leave. So he tells his agent, the agent who's got him a club lined up by the look of it, the agent then tells Payet, you better put a written transfer request in. Whether he's done that, I don't know, but it looks like he has. And that's the next step. Then he's obviously said, I don't want to play for the club anymore. Player power. I mean, that's football at the minute. The players and the agents are in control.
He says, though, we are not going to sell him. As a manager, can you afford to have a player at your club that doesn't want to play for you, but you're not going to sell?
Well, he has to say that because they're going to get a bid. And they're trying to get as much money as they can. He has to say they don't want to sell him, and he probably doesn't want to sell him. But he's one of the best players in the league, best player at West Ham. So it's bad news. There's going to be no happy ending with this one. It's gone a step too far, a bit like Fonte at Southampton. That's gone too far. Then it becomes not a football issue anymore. It's actually not personal, but it's getting there.
Just explain for people who perhaps don't understand how it all works. We heard Dean talking about putting in a written transfer request. The club don't have to sell him, do they? They can leave him just to train on his own for a while. Is there any way a player can force it through once that written transfer request has gone in? How does this all work?
Well, no, a player can force it through. All they can do is put in a transfer request, and the manager will speak to the chairman and say, you know, he's vital to us. We're not prepared to sell him. The player will get obviously disappointed with it, and I think it's a tricky thing, because his form, he could lose his form. And I think the other thing is, if the fans start to see that he's not playing for the club, I think the manager will have to make the decision to probably offload him. Because they'll then support the manager and say, well, if he's not willing to play for the club, the fans will probably say, well, we want players that want to play for us. So I think it's important how they manage this, because for Slaven Bilic, I think this can usually affect his situation, not making the right decision.
What will probably happen now is they'll put him in the reserves, but can you afford to have 100 grand a week sitting in the reserves if you're not winning? If you're winning, you can get away with it, but if you're not winning and you've got a player like that sat in the reserves on 100 grand a week, from Payet's point of view, he's going to be sitting there, and they could say to him, look, we'll just leave you in the reserves for a year, see where you end up then. He wants to play football, so it's not going to end very well.
Very well, not at all.
Is there any way that perhaps West Ham are looking at it and going, right, if we can just get him through this transfer window, when that closes, perhaps he'll change his mind, things will get better? Or is this, have we gone beyond the point of no return here?
Well, once a player says, I don't want to play for you anymore, which is basically putting a transfer request in, then the manager's got an issue with it. The manager's got an issue with the player. The agents control everything, Rob. At the end of the day, the agent will be telling the boy what to do, and unfortunately for West Ham, I think they're going to lose him at some point.
OK, we'll have more on that in the transfer centre coming up 11.